तत्परम्पर्यय विद्महे ज्ञानलिङ्गेश्वराय धीमहि तन्नो गुरुः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ योग महर्षि डॉक्टर स्वामी गीतानंद गिरि गुरु महाराज की जय। नमस्ते, नमस्कारम, वणक्कम, स्वागतम, bonjour, buongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, shubh dinam. Welcome to yet another Scintillating Saturdays. We are not too far away from completing 1 year of these Saturday morning interactions between all of you and me. I look forward to Saturdays a lot nowadays. Gives me a chance to explore things within my consciousness that otherwise maybe I would not think about. And so knowing that you will be there on the other side of the screen makes me feel like sharing more. So it's all because of you being there. Today's topic is Sukha Sthanam. So there are two words here, Sukha and Sthanam. And this is one of the most favorite phrases that Ammaji has used for so many years. She talks about finding your Sukha Sthanam. And it can be literally translated as your niche of ease. Those of you who have been with me for the past 35 days or so on the Vishwa Yoga Prarthana, you know that every time we do the Vishwa Yoga Prarthana, after the Pranava, we try to go in and find that Sukha Sthanam. So this phrase has become common parlance if you have been with me for some time. That place where you feel at ease with yourself and you are comfortable with yourself. A zone of comfort, an abode of comfortable ease. A state where you are well, you are healthy. So when we look at the word Sukha, normally it is given the connotation of pleasure or a mild form of happiness, a feel-good factor is what Sukha is. And even if you look at the way Maharishi Patanjali uses the term, he uses it in two places very specifically. One is when he is talking about the klesha which is raga, attraction. And he says, Sukhanushayi ragaha. Raga is that which attracts you towards things and events, people who give you pleasure. So attraction towards that which makes you feel good, feel happy, feel comfortable, feel a sense of endorphin, enkephalin, high, is raga. So raga as Sukhanushayi ragaha. And wherever you find Sukha, normally you find Dukkha along with it, because these bipolar opposites are always coexisting, the Dvandvas. So he says then Sukhanushayi ragaha, Dukkhanushayi dveshaha. Dvesha is our tendency to be repelled by anything that causes suffering. So anything that gives you pleasure, you are attracted towards it. Anything that gives you pain and suffering, you are trying to avoid it. So Sukhanushayi raga, Dukkhanushayi dvesha. This is one usage you find. The second usage you find with Maharishi Patanjali is that he says that when you perfect santosha, contentment, he says, santoshat anuttama sukha labha, an unparalleled sense of comfort, ease, pleasure is felt through contentment. So this is the second place. And there is actually a third place where sthira sukham asanam, where asana is defined as a state where you are steady and in a state of comfort. Steady comfort, steadiness and ease. So three places actually. I started off saying two, it's actually three. One is Sukhanushayi Raga, the second is Santosha Anuttamat Sukhalabha, and the third is Sthira Sukha Masanam. These are three important places the word Sukha is brought into Maharishi Patanjali's teachings. So when you look at that word Sukha, normally it is used as pleasure. And this is why when Lord Krishna talks about it also, he says Sukha and Dukkha, you have to be able to transcend it. You have to be able to go beyond it. And that is where then you find a state of inner balance. As long as Sukha and Dukkha exist, you are being pulled off from your point of balance, because balance lies in the middle. So both the extremes, the extreme of Sukha, the extreme of Dukkha is going to cause an issue for you. So you have to transcend them. That is one of the usages you find. Now, while looking for this, the other day I came upon an interesting definition. And they say that in the Vedic usage, Rig Veda usage, Monier Williams says that the word Sukha can be understood as Su meaning good. Su meaning good. And Ka referring a whole. You're like, what did you say, Ananda? Yes, H-O-L-E. A good whole. When you take these things literally, they are so funny. What does this mean? It means a good fit. A good fit. And they say that in those days, as chariots were the major form of transport, it was important that the wheel and the axle of the chariot had to have a good fit. So the whole had to fit properly for the wheel to move smoothly. And if the wheel moved smoothly, you had a good journey. Your journey was Sukha. So a good fit. What an interesting etymology there. Very interesting actually when you look at it. A good fit. When are you comfortable? When you have a good fit. When I wear a t-shirt that fits me, I'm comfortable. I wear one that is too loose or too tight, then there's no comfort at all. So you have to fit. And immediately in my mind I thought of square peg in a square hole, round peg in a round hole. Isn't that what fitness is all about? A round peg in a square hole doesn't give you comfort, and a square peg in a round hole doesn't give you comfort because it is not fitting. So when everything fits together, Sukha manifests. So what do we mean by fitting together? Well, is your body fitting together as it should? Is your prana fitting together? All your pranas, those 12 pranas, are they fitting together as they should? Is your mind fitting together as it should? Is your intellect fitting together as it should? And are you fitting together with the cosmos as you should? And if you had an idea what I was saying, I was talking of the Panchakosha model. Your body fitting together, Annamaya. Your pranas fitting together, Pranamaya. Your mind fitting together, Manomaya. Your intellect fitting together, Vijnanamaya. And you fitting into your place in the universe, Anandamaya. And when you are fitting together, Sukha will manifest. You are a good fit in the universe. And at that time, there's a state of sukha. You are in a state of comfort. You are feeling comfortable and you are at ease. This is why a very beautiful understanding is that we need to fit into the universe without any blockages. This is again in tune with fulfilling our dharma. When we are fulfilling our dharma, we are in a state of sukha. But if you don't fulfill your dharma, you start to go into dukkha and all the karma comes in. When you are in dharma, there is no karma, and when you are out of dharma, all the karma starts. So sukha is when you are in tune with dharma. When you go out of tune, sukha becomes dukkha. This brings us to another understanding of sukha as a state of wellness, well-being, health. And in fact, in South India, in the Tamil language, if we ask somebody, Sugama irukringla, it means, are you well? In fact, health, the department of health here is called Sugadara Thurai. Thurai means a department. Sukha Adara. Health is the basis of well-being, wellness. Sukha Adara. Now in Tamil we don't have kaka, gaga, nga. We just have one ga. And it's used in different ways based on our usage. So Suga, Sukha becomes Sugam. Sugam, ga, it becomes a ga in Tamil. Sugadara Thurai means, Sugadaram means health. Sukha Adaram. The foundational essence of Sukha is health. You are in a state of wellness, something like swasth in the Ayurveda concept. That concept of Sukha then gets expanded into what is called Saukhya. Saukhyam. So whenever we meet each other, we say, Saukhyama irukringla? Are you well? Are you well? That is the question. Saukhyam. Saukhyam means wellness, that you are in a good fit in life. Your good fit is physical, mental, emotional, social, financial, spiritual. When all the fitting is proper, you are in a state of Saukhyam. Saukhyama irukringla? Sugama irukringla? When we have a normal delivery, it is called Sukha Prasavam. Prasava means to give birth. Sukha Prasavam means a normal delivery. All has gone well with the delivery. Sukha Prasavam. So, the concept of Sukha and Saukhyam. Now, as a musician, we talk about the Saukhyam a lot. We have that concept of Saukhyam. We say, and the Sangeetham romba Saukyama irundhathu. That music was so harmonious. So harmonious. We were in a state of a comfort zone. The musicians were in a zone of comfort. And the audience was transported to that zone of comfort the musicians had. Saukyamana kacharima. Enna Saukyama? What do you mean by that Saukyam in music? You mean there were no aberrations. There were no distractions. There were no deviations. There was no alteration. Everything was in a harmonious, balanced state of flow. And then the Saukyam, Sukha Saukyam of music occurs. When everything is in harmony and the person is singing, Inte Saukhya Meni Jabaja Inte Saukhya Manini Jabaja. And that Saukyam is there. There is that beautiful sense of harmony. Everything is in tune. My music master, Sri Rangam Ranganathan sir, a true Nada yogi, I used to ask him, sir, when we are singing, we use the tampura. The tampura, and he used to play the tampura even in class. In that tampura, nowadays we use an electronic gadget. There is a drone. The droning of the scale. Pa, sa, 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 pa, sa, sa. There is that drone going on. And you are singing in tune with it. You are singing in tune with that pitch. And I used to ask him, sir, while we are singing, how can we know that we are in tune with that pitch or we have gone off tune with that pitch? This is where the word attunement comes. You become one with the tune, and that is called atonement. You become at one. Attunement and atonement. At one man. You become one. Atonement is becoming one. Attunement is becoming one. I asked him, how do I know whether I am in tune or I have gone off tune? In the pitch or off the pitch? He said, hey, this is how our teachers talk. Hey, அது தனியா கேட்டுச்சுனா அபஸ்வரமா பாடுவ. Which means, if you can hear it separately, you are out of tune. You have gone off swara. You have become upper swara. You have deviated from the swara. You have deviated from the pitch. You have deviated from the tune. If you can hear it, it means you have deviated. அது கேட்டுச்சுனா நீ அவஸ்வரமாயிட்ட. If you can hear it separately, it means you have gone off tune, because duality has started to exist. You and the pitch have become two. In that duality, what is happening? You have moved away from the state of ease, sukha, and the state of dis-ease, dukkha, has started to manifest. Health as a state of being in ease, being in tune with the cosmic plan. And we move away from it. When we move away from that state of ease, we move away from the state of sukha, we then move into the state of dukkha. And painful suffering starts to manifest. I will never forget the teaching of Ranganathan sir. When you attune yourself to the cosmos, when you attune yourself to your purpose as an individual, your dharma, automatically you come into a state of sukham saukyam. That sukha saukyam is a state of wellness, a state of wholesomeness, a state of being in tune with the flow. And this is where I like to translate, despite all of these connotations, I like to translate sukha as a state of ease. To me, that is the feeling that is reflected through it. You are at ease. And what does Maharishi Patanjali tell us? How do you get to that state of ease? Contentment. Santosha. The first of the niyamas. The do's of Ashtanga Yoga. Santoshat anuttama sukha labha. Anuttama sukha. Why there is anuttama sukha, unparalleled sense of ease? Because when you are content, you do not want anything. And you know, this desire, this desire is the thief of contentment. As we say, comparison is the thief of, joy. You start comparing with somebody, gone. When you are content, you are at ease with yourself. Now we have to be very careful, because there are many people who are just so goddamn lazy they act as if they are very content and do nothing. That is tamasika laziness. Contentment is not tamasika laziness, laying around in bed, being a couch potato and saying, I'm content with life. No, you are not. You are just too goddamn lazy to get off your rear end. Huh? Contentment is a dynamic state. Contentment, santosha, is a dynamic state where every moment you are doing what you need to do. You are fulfilling your dharma, and yet, because you are fulfilling your dharma in tune with it, all your karma is now nishkama karma. All your action is without desire. There is no deviation. And so there is a sense of doing, yet you are not attached to the fruits. Karmanyevadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma palahetur burma te sangosta akarmani yogasta kul karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhayo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyascharan atma vashye videyatma prasadam adhigachyati. Atma vashye videyatma. Raga dvesha viyuktaistu, going beyond the raga dvesha. Attractions and distractions don't matter to you anymore. That which attracts and that which repels, you have transcended. Raga dvesha viyuktaistu vishayan indriyascharan. You are moving in all the things. You are moving in the world. But atma vashye videyatma. You are one who is self-content. You are content with your own self. You are self-satisfied. You are self-content. And you have prasad. You have that tranquility. You are in that steady state, a state of sukha itself. To be able to do what you need to do without expectation. For me, I think the biggest message the Gita gives us is, do the best you can do. Skillful action. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. So your action should be as skillful as possible, but it should be nishkama, without any attachment to its fruits. What a beautiful methodology has been given by Lord Krishna, Yogeshwar Shri Krishna. You are acting, so there is a dynamism, there is a rajas. The rajasika guna is there, there is a dynamism of action, yet there is a self-contented inner state. And when that inner state is self-content, every action is getting elevated into a sattvika action. The action itself is becoming sattvika. When we think of these teachings, they go very deep into our life. These are not teachings to be read and memorized. These are teachings to be lived with every breath. Can we manifest that santosha, that contentment with every breath? Because if with every breath you have santosha, automatically sukha will be there. And if sukha is there, dukkha cannot be there. But when you become asantosha and you become discontent, you will be pulled into dukkha, which is the modern marketing agency work. Pull you into dukkha. How can you be satisfied with only one house? How can you be satisfied with a small car? How can you be satisfied? How can you be satisfied? More, more, more. Dil mange more. The heart wants more. What nonsense. Huh? Dil mange less. Your heart needs less, not more. All we need is less. All we need is less. Seriously. With contentment comes a beautiful manifestation of sukha. Now Ammaji talks about sthanam, Sukha Sthanam. What is the second part of it? Sthanam means a point, a place, an abode, a zone. So Sukha Sthanam is that niche within you, that place within you, that abode within you, that zone within you, where you are at ease with yourself, not with somebody else, with yourself. Because if you are at ease with yourself, you will be at ease wherever you are. It is said that the Guru was sitting in his state of meditation. All the students of the ashram came to complain to him. They said, Guruji, the ashram is too hot in summer. The ashram is too cold in winter. There are too many mosquitoes. Sounds like Ananda Ashram. Too many mosquitoes. Life is too hard. The Guru told them, go someplace where it is neither too hot nor too cold. Go someplace where it is neither too hot nor too cold. Now that journey is not an external journey, it's an internal journey. It is that internal journey where you find that point within you. You find that point of balance within you where you can be at ease. You can be in your comfort zone. You can be established in your abode of ease. Your Sukha Sthanam is your abode of ease, your zone of comfort. You are at ease with yourself because you are comfortable wherever you are. Swamiji was like that. Swamiji could be with the President of India having lunch. He could be with the Governor of Pondicherry having dinner. He could be sitting having lunch in a fisherman's hut. He could be sitting having, the only idli possible on a roadside tiffin center. In the high Himalayas, on the corner of one of the rocks, somebody would be making chai, drinking chai. He would be comfortable wherever he was. He was comfortable in the 5-star hotel bed. He was comfortable on the floor. He was comfortable with a bed, without a bed, with clothes, without clothes, with students, without students. None of the external aspects bothered him because he was in his Sukha Sthanam. He was comfortable wherever he was. Now contrast this with the modern human beings who are not comfortable with themselves, and so wherever they go, they are uncomfortable. If you are not comfortable with yourself, you will not be comfortable in any relationship. You will not be comfortable in any job. You will not be comfortable in any ashram. You will even not be comfortable with Ananda. You will not be comfortable with anybody because you are not at ease with yourself. And so what happens? We start to project everything on everybody else. And why am I not sleeping? Because you were too loud. Why am I not happy? Because you didn't cook good food. Why am I not happy? Verbal diarrhea of excuses. Because you are not at ease with yourself. That is why Ammaji has stressed the need to connect to that Sukha Sthanam within us. Unless you find that Sukha Sthanam, life is going to be a pain in the wrong place. Life's going to be a pain. Because you're not at ease with yourself. This is why that Sthanam is a point. And Maharishi Patanjali, when he talks of yoga, Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. When the chitta vritti nirodha, the transcendence of the chitta vrittis has occurred, tada dhrashtu swarupe avasthanam. You are established avasthanam in your own essential nature. Tada drashtu, the perceiver, will be established in the essential nature. Your own swarupa, you will be established. But as long as the chitta vrittis are going on, you are identifying with the chitta vritti. You are so caught up with the chitta vritti, you have no time or inclination or space to connect to your own essential nature. This is why the Sukha Sthanam, finding that abode of ease within yourself, is so important. Now, is this just an intellectual exercise? Is this just verbal jugglery? Is this just a hypothetical philosophy from 5,000 years ago? No, it is not. Yoga is a practical philosophy, a practical psychology, a practical spirituality. So the yogis said, well, we want to help people connect to that Sukha Sthanam. We want people to manifest Sukha. Because every place you find dukkha. They said, how can we do it? They said, well, let's give them a few things they can do. So they said there is something called Sukha Asana, which is a comfortable cross-legged sitting posture where you start to learn to be comfortable in your own body. Sukha Asana. You start to become comfortable in your own body by doing the Sukha Asana. They then said, what can you do? You start to connect to the breath. Sukha Pranayama. What is Sukha Pranayama? Sukha Pranayama is a comfortable inhalation and exhalation of equal count. For example, a 4 count. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. You can make it as 6. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A harmonious, balanced breathing where your inhalation and exhalation are of equal duration. Sukha Pranayama. The moment you start to perform Sukha Pranayama, you start to connect to that sense of ease within, that sense of comfort within, that sense of being at ease. That is the purpose. You are connecting to that. And how does this reflect physiologically? We have seen again and again that 5 minutes of Sukha Pranayama, which is approximately 27 rounds, your blood pressure starts to normalize. Your heart rate starts to normalize. You start to calm down. You come into a steady state, a steady balance. And that is why whenever you are upset, whenever you feel a sense of uneasiness, moving away from ease into a state of uneasiness, from Sukha to Dukkha, sit down comfortably in the Sukhasana. If you cannot sit on the floor, take up a comfortable sitting posture on any platform you need. And this breathing in and breathing out for an equal count. And suddenly 5 minutes later, everything has changed. Why has everything changed? Because you have found that Sukham within. Now, this has been taken further because what we have found is that there are cardiovascular autonomic rhythms in the body. And these are in cycles. And the cyclic pattern of these cardiovascular autonomic rhythms, they are at the rate of 6 per minute. 6 per minute is the rate. So when you breathe at the rate of 6 per minute, when you breathe at the rate of 6 breaths per minute, You are attuning yourself with the healthy cardiovascular autonomic rhythms. What a beautiful thing is happening. And if you do what I just was demonstrating, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At about this speed, if you count and you look at it, you will be doing 6 breaths per minute, and the count being used is 6. The number 6 is a number of Ajna Chakra responsibility, and suddenly what you find? A beautiful sense of inner harmony, peace, comfort, and you move into a state of Sukha. We have done a lot of work on this, and we have again and again found people who have anxiety, people who have depression, both the opposites. Because both the opposites have pulled you away from your state of ease. Both anxiety and depression can benefit from Sukha Pranayama. People who have cardiac rhythm abnormalities, because the way you breathe, when you breathe, there is an interaction with your heart rate. When you breathe in, the heart rate goes a bit faster. When you breathe out, it goes slower. So the speeding up of the heart rate, the slowing down of the heart rate as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Because every breath in is sympathetic. And when you are born, you're born on the first in breath. And all the stress of life starts. So sympathetic nervous system. When you die on the last out breath. And so it is a relaxation. So exhalation is always relaxation because it is letting go. When you start to balance the inhalation and the exhalation, you are balancing the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And automatically you are coming into what would be called a state of autonomic balance. Autonomic balance is what we are looking about. Not sympathetic domination or parasympathetic dominance. Everybody likes to say, yoga makes you parasympathetic dominant. No. It is about what we call sympatho-vagal balance. A balance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic activity. It is in that state of balance that the Sukha lies. It is in that state of balance, in that Sukha Sthanam, that you can start to have an attitude which will be called Samabhava or an equanimity attitude, an attitude of equanimity. And it is in that the steady wisdom called Sthita Prajna can manifest. Sthita Prajna cannot manifest when you are in dukkha. Sthita Prajna cannot manifest in dukkha. It can only manifest with sukha. Because in that state of ease, you are so balanced that your perspective will be a perspective of the higher universal wisdom. The higher universal wisdom, that prajna, the prajna itself will flow through you in that state of balance. So whenever you feel imbalanced, whenever you feel you're losing that state of comfort, whenever you feel you are being pushed out or pulled out of your comfort zone, make sure your comfort zone is not a tamasika comfort zone. Okay? It shouldn't be a tamasika comfort zone. It has to be a sattvika comfort zone. Remember, tamasika, people who are sleeping and people who are in deep dhyanam, deep meditation, look the same externally. One is in sleep, one is in deep meditation, dhyanam. Externally, they look the same. And that is why an enlightened soul and a madman look the same externally. We need to find that Sukha Sthanam within us. That place, that niche where we can be at ease with ourselves. We are in a state of comfortable balance. And in that, our attitude will be a samabhava. We will start to have a balanced attitude towards life. And in that, the sthita prajna will start to manifest. Steady wisdom will start to manifest. When you are imbalanced, where will there be wisdom? When you are imbalanced, mentally imbalanced, there's no wisdom there. And that is why when people are emotionally volatile, there's no chance in hell of them making a positive evolutionary decision. And that is why you will find the breath is out of control. The emotions are out of control, the breath is out of control, the mind is out of control. Where will balance be? Where will ease be? Where will Sukha be? And this is why the most important tool to connect to that Sukha Sthanam is the breath. Because when your breath starts to become one of mindfulness, when you move from the back of your head to the front of your head, that is where the whole of Sukha comes in. Because the back of the head is based on dukkha. The back of the head is your survival instinct, abhinivesha klesha, which is based on dukkha. Seeing somebody else as different. The threat perception is the back of the head. You will never be in Sukha because constantly, will they kill me? Will they take my food? Will they take my wife? Will they take my house? All that comes in. But then from there you move here. You start to change the way you breathe. The moment you change the way you breathe, you change the way everything else happens. Because you have brought in this prefrontal cortex. And latest neuroimaging work, which has been done in people who are in deep states of meditation, is again and again showing us that it is the prefrontal area that is starting to become more active. You are starting to use the prefrontal cortex. Remember, this is where the buddhi is. This is where the capacity for the higher discerning, dispassionate, non-attached perspective, metacognition can occur here. And yes, Maitri, the issue is we are always searching for Sukha outside. If your happiness depends on other people, other things, you will never be happy. Full stop. If your Sukha depends on external paraphernalia, props, if your yoga depends on props, you will never be in Sukha. Similarly, if your Sukha depends on external props, you will never have Sukha, because Sukha is an internalized feeling. It is an experiential feeling where you are having a good fit. Remember Sukha, a good fit? You are fitting into everything as you should. Ammaji's definition of dharma comes to mind. Doing the right thing for the right person, in the right way, at the right time. So important. Doing the right thing for the right person at the right time in the right way. Then it is dharma. Then when you are in tune with your dharma, when you are in tune with your purpose, you are at ease with yourself. A musician must make music. If a musician is not given a chance to make music and has to deal with, nuts and bolts of a car as a car mechanic, he will never have Sukha. See, attuning to what we are. And that is why for me, the Sukha Sthanam is that place where you can just be. There's no doing. Being. This is why the great Ramana Maharishi told his students, they said, what should we do, Guruji? Ramanaji, what should we do? He said, Summa ir. Summa ir. Summa ir means be still. Be still. People thought he was saying shut up, because in Tamil, Summa ir can also mean shut up. Keep quiet. What he actually meant was Summa ir means be still. In that steady state of stillness, I'll never forget one of the kids at Yoga Anjali, who once, when we were talking of definitions of yoga, made a statement. I don't know whether she knew what she was saying, but she said a beautiful statement. She said, yoga is skill in stillness. Skill in stillness. What a beautiful definition of what yoga is. Sukha Sthanam is a place for me where I can just be. And it's a place where you're not doing anything. You're not thinking anything. You're not feeling anything. You are just being. This drives people crazy. They say, what are you thinking? And you say nothing. How can you be thinking nothing? I'm like, seriously. What are you doing? Nothing. What are you feeling? Nothing. You mean you are dead rock? No. The dead rock is tamasic. When you are in the state of being, that state of Sukha Sthanam, it is a sattvika experience. Just to be. Be at ease with yourself. You don't crave for anything. You don't desire anything. You don't need to be running around more and more. Everybody wants more techniques. Give me more techniques. Give me more techniques. Give me more concepts. Remember my statement today, all we need is less. Because in that state of santosha, in that state of contentment, all your content is already there. Contentment. Your content is already there. In that state of santosha, there are no wants. There are no wants. But it doesn't mean you become a recluse. It doesn't mean you run away from society. It doesn't mean that you become a burden on others. Santosha is not becoming a burden for others. To be in Sukha Sthanam doesn't mean you're a burden for others. It means if you have become a burden for others, it is tamasika. Okay? So if your spirituality is making you a burden for somebody else, it is not spirituality, it is escapism. I think I need to repeat that. It's a good statement. It came from someplace, I don't know where. Thank you, universe. If your spirituality is making you a burden for others, it is not spirituality, it is escapism. Because spirituality should make you lighter, should make you self-sufficient, not a burden for others. I know many people who like, I am so spiritual, I'm not going to work, and somebody else has to work and feed them. That's not spirituality, it's escapism. Do not mistake escapism to be spirituality. Don't mistake laziness to be contentment. And of course, I have to end with Maharishi Patanjali. Don't mistake dukkha to be sukha, because that is the highest avidya. Escapism, Radha Sharma, escapism is when we use these spiritual concepts to be lazy. Escapism is when we use these spiritual quotes. Oh, Lord Krishna says, nishkama karma, so I'm not going to do anything. Krishna is very clear. Don't go into akarmani. Krishna is very clear, but people take him out of context so that they can say, oh, I've given over to God, so I will do nothing. And basically, they're just too lazy to do anything. Very, very important. The yoga starts when you take responsibility for yourself. The first step in yoga is to take responsibility for yourself, your body, your emotions, your mind, your family, your society, your work. You take responsibility. That is a very, very important part of yoga, to be responsible. Because responsibility is the ability to respond, which means your viveka is working, your vairagya is working. Your metacognition, your prefrontal cortex, your power of choice is working. I think that's enough for today. Sukha Sthanam, that niche of ease within us. Let us all be blessed to find it. Let us be blessed to attain it. And again, I must tell you something. You do attain it, but then you sometimes lose it. So let us attain it, maintain it, sustain it, and when we do lose it, have the capacity to regain it. Attain, maintain, sustain, and regain that beautiful abode of ease that lies deep within each and every one of us. Every one of us has the Sukha Sthanam within us. So don't think somebody else has and I don't have. We all have it. Let us work towards it. Let us support others who are trying to work through it. It is so important. Thank you for being with me today. I'm off to work, and it's just so lovely to have all of you with me every Saturday. Let's keep it going. Another few weeks and we would have hit the 1 year mark, and then we just keep going because there's just so much to share. Sharing is caring. Let us care about each other and let us continue to share with each other. Dhanyavadaha. Grazie, danke, merci, nandri, vanakkam.